Sections 3.1 to 3.4 talk about fraction operations and decimal operations. There's other videos about fraction operations. Now this one's going to focus on the decimal operations. So copy down your target for today. We're going to focus on converting between fractions and decimals, as well as adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing decimals. I actually want you to do the converting as a warm-up. You may remember how to do this from last year. So try the warm-up A, B, C, and D, these four problems here. I want you to convert A and B to fractions, and I want you to convert C and D to decimals. If you forget how to do this, look right below the warm-up. There's two images for you to help you with some steps on how you could convert between the two forms. So try these four problems now, and then you can pause the video and then press play whenever you're ready to go over them. Now that you've tried the warm-up and you've copied down your target, let's take a look at these four problems. It's going to be best if you read the fraction to help you convert it. So when you're looking at A and B, read the decimals. This first one, it's -8 what? Where does this 8 fall? Well, the 8 falls in the tenths category, so it's -8 tenths. Then you always want to reduce your fraction. These are both divisible by 2, so you get -4 fifths. Let's jump down to B. If we have a whole number of 5, that can be a whole number in your mixed fraction. Then read this number. The last number to the right falls in what category? Tenths, hundredths, thousands. So that 1,000 becomes your denominator, and then 622 becomes your numerator. You can the whole part's going to stay, so you're not going to reduce the whole, but you always want to look at the fraction and see if you can simplify it. Is there anything that you can divide out of both the numerator and the denominator? You can take out a 2, and that's going to give you 5, and 311 5/100ths. That's as far as you can simplify on those two. To convert to a decimal then, you always take the numerator, and you put that inside your house to divide. So the numerator is always going inside, and you just actually do the long division. Take a look at C. Hopefully you noticed when you do the long division, 9 goes into 11 once, 1 times 9 is 9, subtract, you get 2. Pull the 0 down. 9 goes into 20 2 times, but that's going to leave you a remainder of 2. You'd pull the 0 down again. 9 could go into 20 again 2 times. We can see that this is going to keep going. We're always going to have that remainder of 2. So it's actually 1.2 repeating, or 1 2 tenths repeating. So the 2 is going to repeat. It's actually not 2 tenths. We've got to be careful we say that. Nines, when the 9s are divisor, that happens. That's actually a pattern that some of your enrichment packet papers are about. So you can look at those worksheets if you'd like. And then for D, we're dividing 7 divided by 20. So the 20 goes on the outside. 20 doesn't fit into 7, so we put a 0. But 20 does fit into 7D. It fits into 7D 3 times. It gives us 60, remainder 10. Pull the 0 down. 20 fits into 100 5 times. So hopefully you remembered how to convert. If you need more practice with this, you can get it in the enrichment packet and also on your quick check. But make sure you have all your work shown for your teacher. You are not allowed a calculator this chapter, so you need to know how to do this without. So again, these two graphics here are on your notes. Study them, make sure you feel comfortable converting from decimals to fractions, and also converting from fractions to decimals. When you're converting to the fraction, read the decimal, read what place it lies in. When you're converting to the decimals, do the long division. So let's talk about some of the operations with decimals. To add and subtract decimals, you must line up the decimal points. Fill that in for me. And you want to fill in any other spots that you need that are empty with zeros. So the zeros can go in any of the empty spots. Fill those blanks in on your note guide before turning the page to the examples. So line up the decimal points, fill in zeros if there's any empty spots. Then you just add them together. For this first example, 17 3 tenths plus 13 and 125 thousandths, let's line up the decimal point. I'm going to even just write mine right below the 17. So I'm adding, I need to keep that decimal point the same way. Right after the decimal I have 125, 125, And right before the decimal, I have 3 and then 1, so 3 and then 1. Keep it all lined up. Anywhere that you don't have a number, you can put in a 0 if that helps you. So I can add in 2 zeros right there. Now I'm just adding each column, start at the right. So you're starting over here. 0 plus 5 is 5, 0 plus 2 is 2, 3 plus 1 is 4. You lined up the decimal, so just drop that down straight into your answer. Doesn't move left or right. 7 plus 3 is 10, so we're going to have to carry the 1. And then don't forget to add that 1 in when you're adding these ones here, so you have 30. I do ask that you write your number off to the side, your answer off to the side, because you want to keep your work on one part and you want to show your teacher exactly where your answer is, so it'll help if you box it in and write it nice and neat. I also have this little graphic here. Think about it. If you have $2.10 in your pocket, but you owe your mom $5.35, how do you find how much money you have? That's kind of like with this second example here. So if you only have $2 and some change and you owe somebody $5 and some change, are you going to end up with a positive amount of money or a negative amount of money? You can't give away $5 if you only have 2, right? So we're going to have a negative amount of money here. Remember that negative or minus is the same as plus a negative. So you can change that if you like. You can always read subtraction as plus a negative. Then remember your adding rules. We learned how to do this. When you're adding numbers with the same sign, add the numbers, keep the sign. Same sign, sum. When you're adding numbers with different signs, you find the difference. So you're going to do the larger digit minus the smaller digit. Keep the sign of the larger digit. So here, I would determine my sign first. 210, negative 5, and 35. Then the larger digit is negative, so my answer is going to be negative. Then find the difference. Always put the larger digit on top. So I'm going to do 535 minus 210. Line up the decimal places. That doesn't mean the ends of the numbers. Now you're just going to subtract straight down. 5 minus 0 is 5. 3 minus 1 is 2. Pull that decimal place straight down. And 5 minus 2 is 3. But remember, we already decided that our answer was negative. So we're in debt. We owe our moms $3.25 still. It's a negative dollar amount. And again, look at this graphic. So he says, but I am lining up my numbers. And the teacher or the dad or whoever says, oops, because take a look. He's lining up the side of the numbers, not the decimal points. These are what need to be lined up. Then you just drop them straight down in your answer for adding and subtracting. Let's try 2 more. If you want to try these 2 and then press play to go over with me, you can do that now. Tom ran the 100-meter dash in 11.5 seconds last year. This year, he improved his time by 0.568 seconds. How fast did Tom run the 100-meter dash this year? So if he improved his time in running, you always want a shorter time. If he improved his time, he shaved this amount of time off of the time that he had. So would we be adding or subtracting? Yeah, we're subtracting. He improved his time by this amount. So we're going to have 11.5 seconds, and we're actually taking away this decimal. So keep that decimal in the right spot, then write the number down where it needs to be. Now when you do the subtraction, we're definitely going to need some zeros here. Let's put some zeros in these 2 spots. Fill those in so that you can do the subtraction. You always have to start on the right. I can't do 0 minus 8, so you're going to have to go and borrow. I would borrow from the next column, but I can't take from 0, so I go all the way over to the 5. Cross that out and make it a 4, which now makes this a 10. And now you can borrow from the 10 and make it a 9 to make this first spot a 10. So remember how to carry, be careful with that. Then go ahead and subtract. So 10 minus 8 is 2. 9 minus 6 is 3. Oh, I run into the same problem again. 4 minus 5, I can't do that, so you're going to have to carry again. Go to the 1, make the 1 a 0, and take the 1 over to the 4, making it a 14. Now I have 14 minus 5, that's 9. Drop the decimal right down. And 10 minus 0 is 10. So his new time was 10 0.932 seconds. Anytime you have a word problem, make sure that you have a label on your answer. You want to have some sort of label. In this case, we're talking about the time in seconds. And the last one down here on D, when you have an expression you need to evaluate, if you know what x is, go ahead and plug it in. So I'm going to plug in this number wherever I see an x. Notice it's minus that negative, so be careful there. You're going to have 12 and 1/10 minus, use parentheses when you substitute. It'll just help you to never make a mistake. We all make mistakes, but those parentheses help a lot. So if I substitute in that negative number, now I can see I have minus and negative right in a row. Minus a negative is the same as plus a positive, so we can change those both to plus signs. Really, I'm just adding these two, and that's going to be 12.2, or 12 and 2/10. So remember, minus a negative actually is the same as plus a positive. You can change them both and make it adding. Okay, I'm going to stop this video here and start a new video for the multiplying and dividing rules. So when you're done with these notes, you can go on to that one.